Iberia is quietly becoming one of the most important regions in Europe's clean industrial transition. World-class renewables, a strong industrial base, and real pressure to decarbonize. But turning that into bankable, repeatable projects is still the hard part. What's blocking scale? What would actually fix it? And what Iberia could become if it executes well? My guest is Natalia Ruiz Saez, managing partner at SC Net Zero Ventures. They just closed last September 210 million fund to back industrial decarbonization scale-ups across Europe. Natalia, welcome to Net Zero.
Thank you, Leon. Very happy.
Nice to be here in Madrid with you at your office. And let's start speaking a bit in general about Iberia. I just read the Cleantech for Iberia report that you were also working on. And maybe you can give us a short briefing about the actual situation, some key facts.
Yeah, sure. Iberia, we are quite happy because Iberia is becoming a growing ecosystem. Since the during the past year, we have seen a lot of increase in volume of investment. And last year, in 2025, Iberia, talking about Cleantech investment, reached a record never seen before. More or less 800 million invested, more than 80% higher than the year before. So a very good success. But it's true that we analyze and in the numbers, it's true that the capital is concentrated in 2 or 3 big operations. For example, Multiverse, nearly 200 million, has Compose, also the company for waste to value. So we need bigger, most deals and bigger capital.
Like more numbers of deals as well, right?
Yes, more number of deals, and it's true. And also most of the deals are still concentrated in early stage. So clearly there is a gap of bigger deals, more money, more for scale. And this is the typical gap that is in all across Europe, but in Spain, I think is still more accurate, this kind of gap.
Can you give us a frame or a comparison to peers in Germany and France to understand how big right now the venture market is in Spain?
Yeah, Iberia is growing, is maturing, but it's true that in comparison with other neighborhood countries, for example, France or Germany or other European countries, is clearly behind. No? In Germany, more or less, the Cleantech ecosystem is more than 2,000 million. So clearly, Iberia still need to improve quite a lot. No? And in France, we can see similar features. No? In Iberia, in the next 5 years, we need more than 30 billions to catch up with the rest of the countries. No?
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Yes, it's a lot. But it's true that we must be proud of this kind of number reached in 2025, but there is a lot of work ahead to reach the numbers of the rest of the European countries.
Mm. Yeah. You said that Iberia has all it takes to become a clean industrial powerhouse. So maybe you can explain what Iberia is generally good at in Cleantech and where the real strengths are at Iberia.
Yeah, Iberia will have a clear advantage, and the advantage is the strong renewable resources. No, the wind, the sun is clear an advantage, not only for the tourism. We can build an industrial ecosystem and a lot of industrial power around these two natural resources, and this means cheap electricity prices, and it means a lot for industry. Also, we have a very good talent. No. A lot of good engineering universities, colleges. And this, I will say that we have the best talent with the best prices, and also very important, no? Because we see a lot of companies abroad that the cost of the labor costs are so high that it's impossible that these companies could reach profitability. No? And if you have a company and you decided to install in Spain, open a facility, you are going to find very cheap electricity prices and the cheap labor cost. And then also there are a lot of government support. There are a lot of different regions in Spain that are very keen and very supportive this kind of Cleantech So I think it's a very good moment and a very good opportunity for the rest of European clean tech companies to think about opening a facility in Spain.
So what are the problems or the main difficulties for companies to, maybe first open a company here to start a startup, and then secondly, to scale the projects and the company?
The scale is the most challenging problem. No, I mean, it's very difficult. There are, and in Europe, even in Spain, in Iberia for sure, and also in Europe, there are a lot of very good early stage companies. But when you try to find these companies, see the progress of these companies and to see how these companies are going to scale, really is very difficult to see good execution in scaling, especially in these kind of companies that are very CapEx intensive, need a lot of resources. Pass from the good pilot results to a first of a kind facility is a huge step. And a few companies in Europe can face this stage. For developing technology, you need a lot of time. You need passing for a lot of stages. And now, as in the clean tech, we need to pass very fast for these stages. Normally, in the old way or the typical way of developing technology, you have clearly very defined stages and you have to double the scale little by little. But now, as we are in a hurry because you must decarbonize the industries and we don't have enough time, we have to go through a big step in scales. No? So that means a lot of risk and that means a lot of money.
For sure. It's very capital intensive to scale clean tech companies. I think this is the biggest difference to software companies, where it's more easy to scale fast with less capital. As you said, you always have first of a kind in investments. It's hard to get bankability for these projects. But I think one of the solution to get the money to the late stage is your own fund. See Net Zero Venture. So maybe we can talk more about your approach and how your fund is helping the whole industry to scale, to accelerate. Last year you closed at 210 million fund. It's a big number. Maybe it's not big enough to close all the gap that is missing in the late stage, but tell us more about your fund. What is the goal and the investment approach?
Yeah. Net Zero Ventures belong to a platform from Suma Capital. Suma Capital is an Spanish asset manager, more or less 1.2 billion under management. It's several strategies from the very early stage venture capital to the infra funds. No? But all the Suma Capital, all the investments goes around the sustainability investment. And it's something that the company, Suma Capital, have built since the beginning and have maintain very close to this approach. No? So all the strategies only invest in sustainable investment. Suma decided to enter in the venture capital because for sure the companies must grow in the venture only with the venture capital, and then once the companies will be prepared, this kind of infra funds to take the following steps. No? So it's very important to understand the company since the beginning. This venture capital strategy is a very good complement to the rest of the strategies of Suma. Net Zero Ventures was born in the 2023 as an agreement with Repsol. Repsol is a multi-energy multi-energy company that have been very with a lot of different tools for innovation. I will say is one of the Spanish company at least that faces the innovation with very different from the own research or up to fund of funds or venture capital. But the company, Repsol, decided to split out a little bit the strategy and maintain the corporate venturing division for invest in very strategic aligned with the current business for Repsol in the more early stage. I'm trying to push bigger companies, more mature companies with a fund of fund strategy, promoting a fund of fund strategy. And for that reason, made this strategic agreement with Suma Capital. It was the Net Zero Ventures was born. And I will say it was not easy because, in Spain now we find that there are a lot of public money because it's true that we find a lot of support from the government and from Europe, from the European Investment Bank, that are promoting these funds to scale. Especially the European Investment Fund now is promoting bigger funds, because it's up to 3 years ago, the biggest fund in Spain for Cleantech was the 300 million fund. No, there were not bigger funds. So if the European Investment Fund is promoting bigger and bigger funds, trying to concentrate the money to invest in the tech, no? But there are not so many private money to match with the public, no? So that is the problem we are facing, all the ecosystem, to try to push this kind of private money that is really willing to invest in industrial companies, in technology, in big tech, and is not so many people, no? Because it just, this, and I think in Iberia, most of the family office and a lot of pension funds, insurance company prefer to other kind of businesses, not real estate, because they are, I will say, risk aversion. Most of them only give a very small percentage to invest in venture capital.
Yes, I can imagine. But have you seen a switch in the investment approach also among peers here in Spain? So it's not only Suma Capital, but also other venture funds that are more pivoting into the clean tech area, on this clean tech sector?
Yes, we have seen also a huge evolution in that sense. 5 years ago, there were no funds specialized in climate tech, and now we will say there are quite a few for invested in early stage, but also in late stage growth. And more we read in some big announce of huge funds like Multiventures and also Seaya. They are launching funds, 1 billion fund. This is completely new in Spain, to invest in deep tech, climate tech in Europe. So it's good news that the ecosystem is moving. And also it's very important that now for this kind of, if you examine it a little bit, who were the investor to these kind of deals that have been in Iberia in last year, it's good to see also investor for other parts of Europe. For now, up to now, there were very few, in very Spanish deals you can find in external investor outside of Iberia, Spain. But now a lot of European funds, for example, are opening offices in Madrid, because Spain is becoming an interesting place to sourcing.
What is the main reason for this? Why is Spain gaining so much interest?
I mean, as we have been talking before, Iberia is a very good place for this kind of climate tech companies. And we also not only see venture funds, also a lot of companies that are settling in Spain, but also in Spain you can see, or you can find deals with a very lower valuation than in other parts of Europe. And I mean, I think now we have changed a little bit, no? In the venture capital, some years ago, everybody was talking about unicorns, and now we are changing a little bit what means to be a unicorn. For me, it's better to grow little with profitability, until obviously growing, but without trying to only grow without any profitability, no? And I think in Spain we are conscious of that, and there are more and more companies that are performing in that sense.
This is interesting. What would you say are the most important KPIs that you also look at when you analyze a company? Because yeah, as you said, maybe for a clean tech company that is still in a pilot project phase, or maybe investing in the first great and big scale project, they don't have the revenue maybe a software company at this stage would have. Maybe neither the revenue growth. So where are you focusing at when you analyze companies and investment targets?
I will say I would like to be clear milestones. For example, you have a pilot, you are in pilot scale. How are you going to reach the first of a kind? What are your technical risks? What are you going to finance this step? And I would like to see a clear and true path to reach that. No? And it's also very important to see the team. No, is clearly a must, a very deep access of the team, because especially if the team has the scale up abilities, no, because in many companies, early stage company, the technical team is very, very strong, Normally in Spain, we can see in Iberia in general, a lot of strong technical teams, but once the company start to scale up, in most cases, the company needs other profiles, no? And this kind of profiles is difficult to find. No? Execution, and it's clear that.
You have a lot of experience in this field. You were working at Repsol, also on the corporate venture side. Before Suma Capital was built out of Repsol. So what exactly would you say is helpful from your own background right now at Suma Capital? What would you say are your biggest strengths?
Yeah, I mean, I have been working in the energy sector for all my professional career. I started as a process engineer in one of the refineries of the Repsol Group in the north of Spain. And then I work in other roles in the company, more in the planification, strategic businesses, and so on. And during the last 10 years in innovation. So I think having this path of starting from the very industrial engineering role,
Process engineering.
Process engineering,
right?
yes, process engineering, and then I perform, the other roles more in the strategic, give me a strong view of what that means. For example, scaling, no, and it's very important to understand how this kind of industrial assets work, how that this means developing technology. I've been also several years in the research center of Repsol, where there are a bunch of scientists developing and co-developing technologies with other research centers, universities. So having been very, very close to this kind of profiles gives me a lot of knowledge about what are the risks, what are the milestones needed to scale technology. And that is very important. When you go and you speak with a company, it's very important because many companies say, no, I have now a pilot scale, and in 3 years I want to have 4 or 5 commercial plants. That is impossible. You need to as founder, as investor, you have to build credibility, and you have to show a clear path to growth. And it's clearly very difficult because the most important thing that this kind of projects are not bankable. Because for sure this kind of first of a kind needs a mixture of equity, the bank support, no? But it's clearly very difficult that the bank at this stage support this kind of projects, no? There are several banks in Iberia that are working quite hard, trying to be very close to this kind of company, hiring companies and storage, the most developed verticals of Iberia Cleantech topics. But it's true that it's not so, it is difficult. No? And we have to find the mechanism. We know all the theory, but we have to find the right mechanism. No? Because, now that is true, there are not premium for the Cleantech solution. So you have to build a solution with the same price of the old style of working. No? For example, in the case of hydrogen, is the green hydrogen is a must to decarbonize a lot of industries. But for now, there is clearly a gap between the gray hydrogen with the green one. So who is going to support this gap? In some regions, for example, in Germany, there is like a mechanism that try to cover this gap. And this is a very good mechanism to try to support and try to give comfort to this kind of company. No? In the same way we financed the renewables some years ago, and now the renewables, they have been increasing a lot. And more or less in Iberia, it's 70% of the electricity is from renewables. That's in a short period of time.
That's a huge number, yes.
But it's because of the huge support, no, of this kind of mechanism in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, for sure, the mechanisms are important, but also the public funding, right? I mean, it needs up to 15 billions per year in additional public and private funding to reach their own net zero goals. So how do you see the role of public funding? How important is it? And how is public funding working right now? Is it really, I mean, the money is there. We just touched it. I mean, from the European Fund, there's a lot of money going to Spain, but can you see the money, or do you see the money being invested in a in a way where these companies need investments?
I think the public support is good. I will say it's good. There are a lot of money from different Spanish different administration. It's true that is in many cases there are 3 or 4 pockets, not very with different rules. So it's a little bit complicated navigating in the system because it's public funding demands different things. So it would be great to have harmonized all this kind of public money because there are the CDT organism, and then is the ICO, and then is the SED. So a lot of different, and also COFIDES. So it's quite difficult to know exactly what will be the right pocket to demand support. Also, I think in the European terms, there are quite a lot of support for the European Innovation Fund for this kind of clean tech technologies, especially from countries like Spain and Portugal.
So if the money is there, where are the real bottlenecks right now for scaling? I mean, you already talked a little bit about it, but to frame it in
the money is there for the private, but you have to match once time more. You have to match with private money. So there are not so many funds, especially focused on hardware and capex intensive industries, especially when these companies are quite far for being profitable. Because it's very difficult to finance these kind of hardware companies with a venture capital system. Venture capital system was created a lot of years ago in supporting and helping software companies with the KPIs were quite clear, and the growth is clear and is there for supporting this kind of capex intensive. The money must be quite patient because for developing the technology, probably from the very beginning to the scale up growth, the company in many cases takes more than 10 years. And the venture capital has its very defined terms. I mean, normally it's a 10 years fund, 5 for investment, 5 for disinvestment. So it's very difficult to fix this kind of fixed term for finance these kind of companies. More and more, there are more people talking about this kind of evergreen funds that could help these companies to grow with more patient capital. For example, in many cases, the early stage companies are being supported by corporations because there are a lot of energy corporations in Europe making a very good job supporting companies, especially in the early phases. And this kind of corporation has more patient capital. Yeah, and a big problem also is the liquidity, because there are most of the funds and the corporation now has a lot of companies in portfolio, and it's quite difficult to find some of them good exits for this company. For example, the corporation has a lot of companies, and they are now more focusing in trying to find these exits that investing in new companies because the capital has been stuck in Europe during the last years. It's difficult to see good M&A exits. I think the market is becoming in better position now. The financials start working better, but it's true that during the last year we've found a lot of difficulty to exit.
Especially in the cleantech sector,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, because it's difficult. It's difficult. So until we can see clear exit paths, the capital is going to be a little bit struggling to find this kind of clean tech investment.
And apart from the money problem, where would you see other bottlenecks here in Spain? Is there some mechanisms, some sides from something from the political side, or maybe from the infrastructure that is still missing to really accelerate?
I mean, the political side is for these kind of companies, it's very important to have a regulatory base that is stable, no? And trying to find the places that the regulations are stable is clearly very, very important. And it's not the case in many countries. We are now living in a very, I would say, difficult geopolitical situation, and this kind of changing norms from the United States, also in Europe. So difficult for is another stone for this climate tech. No? Now Europe is very focused on resilience in trying to secure energy, secure defense, and is a good environment for build an industry around this kind of challenge. So I think we are in a good moment to start building a strong ecosystem in Europe. I would like to see more money flowing from different countries of Europe, because normally the money from the north, that is quite a lot of money in the north of Europe, are stay in the north, and the south money stays in the south. No, I would like to see more, for example, Scandinavian companies investing in Spain, or more companies from Germany investing in Spain. That would means a good European ecosystem flowing. No?
And why was it not happening the last year? So what is the reason why it's still so difficult for the different venture funds to invest in different markets, so far away from their own markets?
I mean the venture capital, or in general the money, seems to be very local, and you trust. Venture capital is a lot about trust, and you perhaps trust more in your in your local companies. No? But I think it's changing, and now we are, and also European administrations are trying to harmonize all these kind of administrative requirements to invest in Europe, and with the all trying to have all the companies in Europe the same law, and it will be wonderful, no? Because it's starting to build an ecosystem
Yes.
in terms of Europe, no? And it's true that for scaling, for example, no, you can have a wonderful company in Spain, and you need to scale the company to France, Germany, and once you go to another countries, the rules are completely different. So it's not so evident for a Spanish company to settle a new facility in Germany and start working there. No, you need to know in general very well the rules of this kind of country. Normally, for example, in the electricity market, they are completely different. So it's not so
Yes,
evident.
that's
No?
true.
And the proof is that many companies that starts in their own countries, and then when they go to another country, it's a completely failure.
I mean, this is a lost opportunity in Europe
Yeah,
because we have such a huge market. We have the capital, we have the talent,
yeah.
we have all it takes to be successful and to get it moving and accelerating. So this is, yes, a huge problem still. But as you mentioned, we are seeing actually right now that as well the venture capital is moving more to different markets. And you mentioned that more international venture capital funds are coming to Madrid. So there are movements, right?
Yeah, I think there are movements, are good movements. We as Net Zero Ventures find look for deals in all around Europe, and also in the North America.
So
Which
you're
is
not concentrating at Iberia with net zero.
no. We will invest more or less a third in Iberia, and then the rest all around Europe, and also we can invest in North America if these kind of companies want to open business in Europe.
So North American companies that are expanding to Europe, right?
Yes, expanding to Europe, because we try to help the companies to scale, and we think that we need to be quite close to that companies.
What will be a normal investment size, and how many deals are you planning to make with the 200 million?
We're going to invest in more or less 15 up to 20 companies, because our initial tickets are from 5 to 10 million, with the possibility to have the companies up to 20 million. Yeah. Try to diversify a little bit, because we are focusing decarbonization, carbonize the mobility, the industry, the energy. So with this clear focus, we are also trying to leverage a little bit between these kind of three verticals, and also trying to diversify a little bit with these capex companies, with other companies that are more has the ability to grow a little bit faster. No? Because it's true that you don't put all the eggs in this kind of capex intensive companies, because otherwise it's difficult to find the numbers.
And when you invest in a company, what would you say for to founder, for example? What is the biggest advantage for founder to have you as a partner on their board?
I mean, we have a good knowledge of the energy sector, and this is we I will say we have the ability to speak with the founders in the same language, in the same technical language. That this is important to understand the needs and the technology, and then we are very well connected with these energy companies all around Europe because we have been working in the space for a lot of years, trying to help the company. And also for us, it's important we have helped the companies in the ESG policies, in the impact, in the KPIs, because we are Net Juventus, we are an Article 9 impact fund. So trying also to understand that the companies understand that it's very important this kind of procedures to also all these compliance procedures and so on, prepare the company for the next stage, because the next stage will be a growth fund or will be an infra fund, and this kind of good, proper way to build a company is very important. No? Try to find the right profiles and the only help them to grow the team and grow the company safe and with a clear organizational view.
You mentioned the three sectors that you're going to concentrate on, but is there one technology or one field where you're most excited about for the future? Something where you would say, well, this technology, I'm really optimistic, I'm really bullish on, or are you more general?
In general, we try to cover different sectors, but I will say that in Iberia there are growing ecosystem around storage, the kind of solutions for this kind of renewable. Trying to work with this kind of renewable energy. The systems in general are not prepared to work in the 24/7 with this kind of renewable. No, this kind of solution that help us to take profit of this kind of renewable energy will be for sure in our focus, in the first place of focus. Up to now, we have invested in a company developing membranes for separate hydrogen for other gases, H2 That is a very good example. For example, that a foreign investor had bet in this kind of company. In that case, Breakthrough Energy is the main investor, and also there are good corporations like Equinor, Engie, and ourselves. So also with the support of Enagas is a clear example that money for us for other parts of Europe are coming to Spain. We have also invested in grids because for us it's very important that in that kind of solutions to accommodate this renewable energy to be incorporated in the grids, and in general grids needs a lot of solutions. It's a good topic, and yeah, we have also invested in a Spanish company for manufacture chargers, that is a residential charger, and they are doing great because we have seen during the last year a very good increase in electrical mobility. That it was a clear, Spain and Iberia in general has a clear gap in comparison with other European countries. So good improvement there, and also well supported for some governmental support. No, in that case, no, the MOVES program and programs that help to people to finance the boat of this kind of electrical cars has been a very good way to push the numbers in Spain.
We already talked about the bottlenecks, what has to be fixed. And I saw in a LinkedIn post from you that you said 2026, this year is going to be decisive if, Iberia is going to grow, to grow and to figure out if you can actually reach the goals. Where can Iberia be if everything, or if the bottlenecks will be fixed, and if you really accelerate, if the money is filling the late stage gap? Could you draw a picture of Iberia in 10 years if everything works out the perfect way?
I would like Iberia could be a key place in Europe to start Cleantech company. I will say that the easy ways to enter in Spain, I mean, good administrative facilities or in administration facilities in terms of start building a company. That is a must that this kind of companies come to Spain. I will see the a good advance in decarbonization. I would like to see, for example, how the companies have been able to decarbonize heat and how the green hydrogens has entered in the industries, and how, for example, the renewable energy could be um, fixed to this kind of storage, and that is a clear demand, no, for this kind of renewable energy. So I will see a place that all these kind of technologies we have been developing now could be at the scale phase, ready to be commercial, and more European money coming to Spain, no, to invest with.
Can Madrid get a startup hub like Berlin or maybe Paris? Do you see the potential here?
Yes, clearly I see a huge potential, no? In Spain, traditionally have been two big ecosystem, that is Madrid, Barcelona, and now it's good to see also another places, for example, Valencia and also the Basque Country, having and building a strong ecosystem. In many cases, supported with the local governments that in many cases supports a lot, giving a lot of facilities to start business there, but also net of investor that are doing things good, attracting more and more capital to Spain.
Yeah, interesting. So we're coming to an end. So my last question would be how startups can reach out to you and what is something they need to have done before reaching out to you maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I will like to have a lot of proposals. I encourage the founders that don't hesitate to send me the proposal, because in many cases I would like to see the companies or know the companies since the very beginning. For sure, if there are a lot of companies that will not be in the point to invest, because we demand a little bit of development. I would like to know the funder since the very beginning, to track them their progress, and is the best way to find if the company is performing well. For example, now we are analyzing a first company to invest, and we knew the company probably 2 years ago, and we have been from time to time catching up and how things are developing and so on. And now 2 years later, we are in a deep analysis the company with the aim of investing. So don't hesitate to send proposals. I'm very happy to know these kind of wonderful startups that have a solution that could be something that make a change.
Yes, perfect. So go out, reach out and build something special here in Iberia. You made me really optimistic about Iberia. So it was great to get a view on the market right now and on where Iberia could be in the next years. So let's hope everything turns out in a perfect way. And thank you very much for your time, Natalia.
Thank you, Leon.